Most illustrious morning to creatures, mankind all, including Cersei here behind us. We are going to start the 18th chapter of Leviticus. This being the first video in our Lord, once again speaking to this marvelous man, this best friend of Quias, named Moses, drawn out of the water, drawn out of living water. Isn't it amazing how this all is just interconnected? It really is. I keep using the term synergism because it is. It's amazing. One piece by itself may not be understandable. Put all the pieces together. This is why I am one of those very few Aramites, evangelists, so to speak, that will not just give you a single verse quote. What's your favorite quote from the Bible? This, that, and this. The entire word of Quias is my favorite. It's just fantastic. Now what we're going to delve into is matrimony. And Moses is being told by Quias, I want you once again to speak to the Israelis, the children of Israel, and say to them this: I am the Lord, your God. And according to the customs of the lands of Egypt, where you were dwelling in Egypt, I don't want you to do that. Also, according to the manners and the customs of the nation, the land, the country you're going to, returning to, so to speak, Canaan, which I will bring you, again, you will not do, nor will you walk in their ordinances. All right, what is he referring to here? The worshiping of false gods and the obedience of the rules of man, firstly, as in certain laws of nature, laws of the land, etc. You shall do my judgments, and you shall observe my precepts, and you will walk in them. Not anything of man. As I keep saying today, these nations that are in turmoil, these nations are in conflict. They're in conflict because the people, the land, keeps following the whims of man. Until you get it out of your head, oh, boy, this is stupid. You got to be doing something different. Yeah, you can be doing something significantly different. That includes industrial nations like the United States. Again, following the whims of mankind. It'll never work. We've disobeyed Elohim so many times. We have went against the advice of Christ, for example, when he specifically said, I advise you not to mix the races. We did anyways because we think we can do it better. No, we're not a melting pot. Can't do it better. That's why there was a Babylonian tower. That's why he signaled out the people to be of different tongues and different races. It doesn't work. This coming from Quias, but again, we always think we can, who cares what he says, we can do it. No, we can't. Keep my laws, keep my judgments, and live them. It's so simple. He said this back with Moses. We should be acknowledging this today. St. Augustine, no man, before I get to St. Augustine, shall approach to her that is next of his blood to reveal her turpitude. All right, this is where we get into matrimony, the marriage. No man, I can approach a woman that's within my bloodline. Well, yeah, it's been done, but patience. We'll get to it all. Now, what does the marvelous St. Augustine write? He said it is then turpitude when the act is unlawful, but honest and lawful marriage. Next of his blood. No man shall approach to her that is next of his blood. What does next of his blood mean? Marriage is forbidden most strictly by the law of nature in all degrees in the right line, ascending and descending in consanguinity and affinity. Consanguinity and affinity within the family's bloodline, ascending or descending, up or down. You cannot make an excuse saying, yes, I can do this. No. Quies is specifically saying no. And it was St. Paul who said, among the heathen, even among the heathen, no man could have his father's wife. In the right line, only quies can. And he never dispensed it. Never. We're going over the entire liturgy. You'll see for yourself. Secondarily, the first degree in consanguinity between brother and sister, either by one parent or by both. If one parent had died and you're borrowing more family, it's unlawful by the law of nature. The exception involved Earth's beginning. This is what I was talking about, be patient. The seed of Terah, Terah's beginning, when the seeds of Adam, they did marry each other. This was allowed by Quies. How else would Terah become populated? There are many that believe that there were several Adams and Eves. There was Adam and Eve within the Garden of Eden, and then Quies made other lands outside, which is what Cain brought up, saying, well, if I run into other people, they're going to kill me. And that's why he marked them. And there's some logic to that. I'm not one of them. Just continue the views out there. Now, regarding the seeds of Adam, this certainly was approved by Elohim as he ordained that all of mankind should be propagated not by a woman, but by one man. For of him also the first woman was made. Remember this. Man wasn't birthed by woman. Man was birthed by man. An incredible design that only Quies can do. But after this beginning, it was never allowed, nor perhaps can be dispensed withal. At least never was by any man, period. Now, Beza and some English Bazites, they charged, it's a little bit of history for you, they charged a pope by the name of Martin V to have dispensed with one that had married his own natural sister, which actually was a false report. This according to St. Augustine. For it was with one who, having committed fornication with one sister, afterwards did marry the other, from whom he could not be separated without a great scandal. The pretended marriage being made public, and the impediment secret. And this is as according to Saint Antonius. So, besides the right line in the first degree in consanguinity, no other collateral degrees are prohibited by the law of nature, but by positive only. That's why the law of Moses, the laws of God, do not completely follow the natural laws, the laws of nature. Now, this present law of Moses forbids to marry in the first collateral degree of affinity. And the same law commanded that in case a married man dies without any issue, his brother should marry the widow. We'll learn about this more in Deuteronomy. So it should be self-evident that this degree and others more distant weren't prohibited by the laws of nature. So logically, Quies wouldn't have made a contrary general law in any case for the whole nation of the Hebrews, the Jews, the children for his church, that under penalty to be observed, which contradicts the indulgence quality or the dispensation and no such necessity as was in the beginning of our existence of the world through Adam and Eve. All right. The Protestants, unfortunately, they deny the law of Moses concerning the degrees of consanguinity and affinity. Is indeed the law of nature, and so pertains to Christians that if a married man dies without issue, his brother must marry his wife. This proved nonetheless that this and some other degrees written here, what we're discussing, were against the law of nature, because no commonwealth among the Gentiles punished or reprehended such marriages. Know that the law of nature is common to all nations, or easily known to all men by discourse of reason. Does that sound familiar? Aristotle wrote that. Discourse of reason. Easily known to all men by discourse of reason. This assumed logic and natural ability of mankind. Let's recall when, remember Laban? He deceived his future son-in-law, that incredible God wrestler named Jacob, by giving the angel wrestler the daughter that Jacob didn't love, that Jacob didn't make a covenant for. Also, Laban promised, whom without debt of conscience, he accepted, neither did that holy patriarch think it unlawful to keep them both, which is what he did. Now, additional proof is presented when the son of Jacob, one of them, Judah, he matched his second son, if you recall, promising his third son the wife of his firstborn as per the custom during that time, as we went over back in Genesis. You'll also learn that Noemi spoke according to this same custom. We'll learn this in Ruth. This is third proof for you. Where this law forbids a man to marry or company with his wife's sister, it adds, while she is living, not prohibiting marriage when his first wife is dead. Yet, his sister-in-law is as near in affinity as his brother's wife. We'll pause here. When we next meet, I'm going to add on a fourth proof, which is actually going to come out of the 20th epistle here, which reveals punishment for diversity, for transgressions of this law. So until then, think about this, absorb this. It's a lot of information, but it contradicts so many of these religions have sworn otherwise. Multiple wives, for example, or marrying someone within the affinity of the family's bloodline. Till next we meet, Pax Vobis.